Welcome to Stock Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startups to be wildly successful. Today, we're going to be talking about branding. And our expert today is Laura Doman, and she's got some tips on branding, having branded herself very well. Welcome, Laura.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today.
And let's talk about branding. Why is it important?
Okay. Well, if you are having a business, and especially if you yourself are part of your business or all of your business, you have to be easily identifiable. We know that everybody has such a short attention span. We're talking in seconds and sometimes in microseconds before they just go on. And they have to know exactly who you are, what you're offering, and most importantly, how it's going to benefit them.
The what's in it for me proposition, right?
Oh, that's just the way of the world. But I come at it from a little bit of a unique perspective, because I am not out here as a branding consultant or a coach, but I am somebody who has had to do it herself and continually do it because it is, yes, an evolving process. I am working as an actress, film, TV, commercials, industrials, you name it. And I do voiceover. And yes, I also do some coaching on the side and that kind of thing. But in my line of work, you are your brand. So what I would like to do is to kind of share some things that I have to do myself, but that relate to anybody with their own business. I'd like to give you 5 basic tips. So start off, first of all, it's who are you? You have to know exactly who you are, what your product is, what you have to offer. And it has to be very succinct in that elevator pitch. You need to know your strengths and your weaknesses, your opportunities, and the kind of hurdles you go over. And most importantly, for everybody out there, they want to know what is your core mission, your purpose. So when they see you, and it is very much of a visual environment, they can immediately say, oh, yeah, okay, you've got this great toilet bowl cleaner, or you provide some wonderful consulting services for, let's say, the entertainment industry. Or if you're an actor, oh, I see your picture. I know exactly who you are. Let's just bring up a couple people as an example. And you tell me or think about what these come to mind. Morgan Freeman and Marilyn Monroe. They're rather different. Well, what do you think of when you think of Morgan Freeman? Well, first of all, he comes across as very wise, intelligent, warm, caring, a mentor, somebody that you look up to, and he just makes you feel good, and his voice is amazing. Marilyn Monroe was quite different. Instead, she had the very sexy, little ditzy blonde thing going on, very vulnerable and sweet, and that was her appeal. Now, these are only moments in time. Morgan Freeman, when he was younger, didn't come across like that. And if Marilyn was still with us, she would be pursuing very different roles. But the idea is that when we look at them, and when casting directors will look at them or their audiences, they knew exactly who they were and what they could do. And that is the same thing as with a brand.
Well,
and that would
the other thing you need to think about is that we're talking to startup businesses, and until your brand is known, you are your brand. So if you're not comfortable representing your brand, you need to find a co-founder who can be your spokesperson as well, correct?
Oh, absolutely. A champion, a mentor, a collaborator. I mean, you're kind of going right into my next tip. And that is, you know, your goals and your audience. You're not going to be able to go from 0 to 60 in about 60 seconds. It's going to take some steps. And if you're starting off with something brand new and you're unknown, you're going to need a little help along the way. There are plenty of people out there. You know, there are the peers, they're the mentors, they're the teachers, people with other services, or somebody else who would like to take you under their umbrella and help you along. But you got to be smart. You have to have goals that are reasonable, but they are also specific. They are measurable and attainable, relevant, and something you can achieve within a certain amount of time. And if you need help with somebody getting you there, then that's what you do. Whether you need extra training or certification or just somebody to open the doors. You also want to make sure that you are aligned with your product and your audience with all of your values and your goals, so that the audience can immediately see who you are and what you're doing. Okay. Now, let's get into the third tip, which is brand identity and your voice. And that kind of goes to the visual and the verbal presentation that you offer. You're an individual. Your brand is going to be your presentation. It's going to be how you express yourself, the essence statement that you will. And it has to be consistent and authentic. You have to be able to show that you are who you are when you walk in the door. There is nothing worse than having a calling card. Let's say, for my business, a headshot, my commercial headshot. And if it doesn't look like me, there's going to be a huge disconnect and immediately be dismissed.
And that's a plug to get a new profile picture every 5 years, because when people meet you, they expect to see the person they saw in that profile picture on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or wherever.
That is such a great point. You got to represent yourself as you are. And that's another point. If you're going to be putting yourself out there and you're an entrepreneur and you're your brand, oh my gosh, what happens? I'm not gorgeous. I'm not young. I'm not this. I'm not that. Nobody cares. The whole marketplace these days would be something unique and authentic, who you are today. And if you come across as fake, nobody's going to like or trust you, much less buy from you. You have to be able to say exactly who you are, what you have to offer, and then give it to them. Then, of course, tip number 4, you need an online presence. If you're going to grow your brand, people have to know it. And you have to be somewhat proficient with SEO and hashtags. You have to have your bio, a current profile picture. You have to have a call to action so they will engage with you. And if you don't know how to do it, you call somebody who does. And sometimes it's the marketer that is going to win, whether their product is better than not. So you cannot turn your back on it. And then my 5th tip is to grow your network and your influence. You know, people would like to help you if you've got a good product, and especially if you help them with testimonials, the fact that you do what you say that you do, all that feeds into your brand. It is proving yourself, saying who you are, promising what people are going to get, and then delivering on that.
It's a question of just do it, because the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the more comfortable you become on camera.
Ta-da. And you know what? You do need to learn how to become a little more comfortable on camera. And I'll give Mary my YouTube channel because I got all kinds of videos to help you along. But there's one more tip I'm going to throw in as a bonus. And that is, know that your brand is going to change and evolve over time. You're not going to be the same person. You might find another direction to go into. You might expand. You don't necessarily want to do it overnight, or they're going to wonder, where'd that little bluebird go? And that X I'm seeing, is that the death mark, comic mark in the bird's eye? Because we don't know what it is.
Companies' names change, products get tweaked, products come and go. And you need to be flexible, and you need to be able to pivot and not be so attached to your old idea that you're not prepared to make it what the customer wants. Well, thank you so much, Laura Doman. There's been great tips on branding, and we will put the links to your YouTube channel in the comments and any other links that people can use. So this is Mary Scott with Business Riff. I want startups to be wildly successful, and the best thing you can do is book a synergy call with me at businessriff.com. And join us again next time for Stock Time to Improv.